Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Carissa and today I'll be sharing more with you on a topic called defense mechanism. Now, a lot of us may not be aware of certain times when we display defense mechanisms, and today I would like to help shed some light for you to know yourself better and to recognize certain common patterns that we display whenever we portray our defenses. So a common misconception is that defense mechanism has a negative connotation to it, and sometimes we defend ourselves by telling people that no, we're actually not, showing signs of defense mechanism. But it is important to realize that this is a way that many of us cope, and it's not just one certain way, but actually there are various methods under defense mechanisms. So one common method is that we practice a lot of self-avoidance. So when people approach a certain topic or ask us certain questions that we feel uncomfortable or not ready to face, we avoid. And it's very tempting to avoid whenever we feel like we don't want to answer a certain question or discuss about a certain topic. And it's not wrong. You definitely have your right to say no to certain types of questions which you're uncomfortable with. However, if it is a question for you, that you find yourself avoiding for some period of time, then I encourage you to actually take a look at it. However, it takes a lot of strength and courage to face a certain topic or question that you were not ready to answer previously, but you are ready to answer right now. Now, another common method that we usually find in people, if not ourselves, is to simply back off when a situation reminds you of another experience that you went through previously. So, for instance, you are in a relationship with a romantic partner. However, when they start showing or displaying similar signs, or you realize that you are in a similar situation as compared to your previous relationship experiences, you start backing off. So you build a wall around yourself and you start to retract and close up yourself. Now that is what we call building a wall around yourself. And it is really very difficult for others to penetrate that wall, and you are in charge of letting down that wall yourself. Now, I'm not saying that every people you meet, you start to tear down your wall and simply let people into your lives. This is really entirely up to your own discretion. So be reminded though that when you want to start trusting people, you also have got to trust yourself, and you also have to let others and give others a chance to trust you. It's two ways. And we might even start projecting our own emotions onto others whenever a similar situation happens, and the feelings that we are uncomfortable with, or we aren't ready to acknowledge these emotions in us or way of thinking, we portray onto others, we project all this onto others and think that they are the ones having these uncomfortable emotions towards us, or they think a certain way about us, when in fact, actually, we're the ones that feel or think a certain way towards them. Another thing to look out for is by rationalizing people's actions and behaviors which you are not comfortable with. So for instance, you don't agree with your colleague for doing certain things, and yet in order to protect yourself against any negative consequences, you rationalize their behaviors. Or if your friends, do something that you don't agree with or you dislike, you start to rationalize their behavior and explain in your own mind why they behave a certain way. And this might lead to detrimental effects in terms of straining your relationships with people you care about. So another way that people cope with not getting hurt is to be in self-denial. So you deny yourself acknowledging a certain event that is happening or happened in the past. And this leads to you blocking off certain emotions that you might have because of a particular incident. And you start to tell yourself that it's not true, it's not happening, and you refuse to recognize that a certain event is actually happening. Another way that people cope with themselves not getting hurt and to protect themselves is to not process certain emotions that you feel after an event took place. You know, be it intentionally blocking off the emotions and you don't want to feel a thing. So you numb yourself, you numb your emotions, and eventually it all accumulates. It might lead to a breakdown, or you might suffer from depression eventually. So don't wait until your emotions in you start to explode, and actually be able to take charge of your emotions before an explosion happens. Some people also might find distractions and distract themselves from actually feeling a certain way, or even distract their mind from thinking back about certain incidents that happen in their lives, because they don't want to go through the pain, the hurt, and the suffering that they might feel if they were to reflect on the emotions that they feel. Now, what I'm saying here is that it is important to look at your emotions and thought processes after certain events, be it drastic, big or small, and you must be and take charge of these emotions in your own life. So under the umbrella of defense mechanism, there is another aspect which is called reaction formation. So basically what this means is that people react opposite to a certain scenario. Some people laugh at a scenario when it is not even funny, when it is painful or even an angry scenario, but their reaction is to laugh. Now this is their way of coping with certain event and scenario that happen, because it reminds them of previous experiences in their lives and they don't want to go through the same emotions. So another scenario is when someone seems to be overly positive in a certain situation that does not call for positive reactions. And this is very contradicting, which may also alert you that something is not right. So do take note of certain traits that you might recognize in your own life or in your friends' lives or family members' lives, and do let them know that, perhaps they would like to take a look at the way that they are coping with their own emotions. And there are various methods that can help you cope in a more positive way, or a way that is beneficial to your mental health and state of peace. So I will be sharing with you some suggestions as well that you might want to consider taking up for yourself.